Listen up, stories from the Northwest Corner.
Well, I guess for me, maybe one last thing, I see this, how has the national park changed you? I had never been in a park before I got here, and now I've spent, I don't know how many years, literally, in the backcountry.
39.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just days. I mean,
about
days. Half
days.
that time or so, whatever. So
Yeah.
Only 15 or 20, but...
consecutive years, yeah.
Like I tell Hannah and others, I mean, I'm to the point now where if I get on the other side of Hood Canal Bridge, my blood pressure starts going up. I mean, I there's a lot of people or a lot of vehicles or more of an urban scene. I don't care for that so much, but working in the Quinault with a friend of mine, doing some building restoration, and the Quinault. When you stay in housing, you're out near Highway 101, and then the trailheads are like, 12, 15 miles of dirt road, pretty rough dirt road, to get to the trailheads. So one winter we were there, and of course it's raining quite a bit again in the Quinault, and we're driving these dirt roads to work. I mean, we never would see another person or another vehicle almost ever. I mean, you're talking December, and we're going down this road about 15 miles an hour in the pouring rain, and we had Cairo radio on, which was a news station back then, and they were doing the traffic report for I-5, and they're going, or I-90, about all the traffic and the backups, and we're trying to listen to this, and I have to hit the brakes because there's a herd of elk, like 200 herd of elk crossing the road in front of us, and I'm like, stop there. It's like, oh, we have stop and go traffic here too, but it's a little different than what we're listening to in Seattle. So,
And the national park has changed us because we met each other in the national park.
I'm totally the same.
And I think there's a certain amount of depending on when you are immersed into the national parks. It's sort of the same as Ben. I didn't go to national parks as a kid. I went to, as I said, national historic parks and national recreation areas because the East Coast, the closest national park to me was up in Maine. And when you're in New Hampshire, that's considered a world away. Even though around here it's like going to Tacoma, so my family was very much invested into going to county parks and local doing local things and being out on in the natural world. But national parks, there's just a whole nother level of vastness to our national parks, and so I think. Going to Sequoia, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I came from New Hampshire, which is the granite state, and there's like a lot more granite here in the Sierra than there is. And I remembered, like, when I took Ben for the 10 minutes that we drove through, I guess, I thought we went hiking there, but maybe we didn't. But I just burst into tears because it just was like, had all these emotions and all these memories of being in that place. So I think it's kind of a touchstone for a lot of people, like, as a kid or as an adult, like these places you've lived and experienced and had, trips with your family or whatever. I think this ended up being a pretty, recurring positive feedback loop for a lot of people.
How has the national park changed you?
It taught me that it was okay to be quiet and to just be more introspective, I guess, because I'm more of a social kind of hyper person. And so, I don't know, I go and I feel like at peace, like no matter how stressful and how maybe things don't turn out the way that I want them to in my daily life, it's kind of good to get some balance, I guess. Mm-hmm. And just I feel like everything's more in perspective when I go into parks and see how vast it is and how small I am. How has a national park changed you?
Made me healthier physically, and I've done a lot of hiking where it's just real peaceful. Helped me be calm and relaxed and enjoy myself.
So how did those visits to the national park shape your career and other things in life?
Well, certainly those hikes, because we would do multiple hikes every year in Olympic, and then at least one big one. We usually do a 50 mile or somewhere in the park every summer. So plus we'd usually do other hikes as well. So we spend a lot of time. Covered most of the park, except for the very northeast corner. We never really got up into that Gray Wolf area very much, but otherwise we covered it all. So anyway, yeah, that definitely charted the course for the rest of my life pretty much. I knew pretty early on from those early trips into the park what I wanted to do for a living, which was just to be a park ranger pretty much. I just really worshipped it.
My hopes for the park is that it can be sustained, forever, because it really is one of our best ideas. Yeah. And my work as a park ranger, I've also worked within field science and what has been called outdoor school or outdoor camp or science camp or outdoor science school or all those kinds of things. And I worked in California in schools that were field schools, and I've worked for schools in Washington and most recently with Nature Bridge, which is a partner with national parks to bring science education and research, having kids do inquiry-based research education in parks and to learn, about parks and have that appreciation. And these places kids go to, they're just like, you get inner city students from Seattle, or you get even the students from Port Angeles, and you just get them to sit down and be in there, be on a trail, be in a park, and they're always just in awe. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important that we find a way to keep them going.
And your brother Johnny, I'll never forget that. She has all of our families on the East Coast, and most of them have come out to visit. And John, her oldest brother, she's like, "Oh, it's so awesome, and the trees and the forest." And he said he just thought, "Oh yeah, trees and forest,
Hannah
whatever."
Again, talking about whatever she talks about.
But they finally did come out and visit. And after he had been here for a couple of days, he walked in the kitchen one day. He goes, "Whoa!" He says, "Now I understand what you were talking about." He said, "This is amazing out here."
And the fact that Olympic has got the 3 parks in one feature where you can go to the coast and have this really awesome rugged Coach Beach experience, or you can be along these amazingly forested, river valleys and temperate rainforest, all kinds of really forested areas, and then you can go to the Alpine and be in this amazing. And so whenever a family from the East Coast comes, we bring them to a Dungeness Spit or somewhere beachy in the morning, and then go to Hurricane Ridge in the afternoon. So I can say within 6 hours you've been on the beach and you've been at 5,500 feet. So that's kind of fun.
But so I'd like to see people in the communities around those parks feel sort of protective of the parks and like, wow, we've got this park over here that has the rainforest and the skiing and the surfing, and maybe somebody else, another community would say, well, we've got the best park because it's got all these cultural archaeological digs, and it draws people from around the world, and we love it, and it makes our life better, and so we're going to kind of be boosters for our park. Mm-hmm. And so it'd be really great to have the communities around the park know they benefit, measurably benefit by having that park there.
Do you have any parks that you plan to visit in the future, or ones you haven't been to?
Everyone I can. Go down southwest to see our kids. Yeah, I'd like to spend. I like the loneliness, I think, and just like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To hear all of the Listen Up interviews and to view the Burt Kellogg photo collection online, visit the Washington Rural Heritage website.